Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday to everybody in the chat. Let's see who we have here. We have Senna. Thanks for joining, Senna, and thanks for moderating. We have Janice. Thanks for joining, Janice. Wanda, thanks for joining. Penelope, thanks for joining. Miss Buckeye, thanks for joining. I said what I said. Thanks for joining and being a moderator. Jill, thanks for joining. Nice to see you. Rosalind, thanks for joining. Scorpio Mama, thanks for joining. Hassan, thanks for joining. Abril, thanks for joining. And Vaughn, thanks for joining and moderating as well. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining this live. Okay, Abril, I was about to change that. So let me check to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Hey, Shay. Thanks for joining and moderating as well. Hey, Real Eyes and Even. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you as well. Checking to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Larry King, thanks for joining. Did I miss anybody? Okay. And hello to everyone in the bushes. Thank you for joining as well. So, you guys saw the title Chocolate Isn't for Everybody. Let me ask a question. I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you like chocolate, and put a 2 in the chat if you don't. A 1 in the chat if you like chocolate, and a 2 in the chat if you don't. I said what I said, says she likes chocolate. Scorpio Mama says she likes chocolate. Miss Buckeye says she doesn't. Rosalind says she does. Wanda says she does. Santa says sometimes 1 and sometimes 2. Shay says she's neutral. Larry says that he doesn't. Scorpio Mama likes dark chocolate. Janice says yes. Okay, well, let me tell you all a story when it comes to me about chocolate. So, back in 2008, I was out of town at a family reunion, and all of a sudden, I got sick. I was hundreds of miles away from home, and I was so sick that I was I got dizzy where I had to hold on. I was staying at a hotel and I had to hold on to the bed and the walls and everything in order for me to um, move around to even go to the restroom. And so I think we had 1 or 2 more days left for the family reunion. So I had to spend that time. I was in the bed and I couldn't do much of anything. Hey, Miss Jazzy, thanks for joining. And so when I got back home, I immediately went to the doctor to see what was going on. Well, on top of that, I had a terrible headache. So I went to the doctor and I actually got admitted to the hospital. I had to go to the emergency room. I was suffering from vertigo and I had a migraine. And I ended up staying in the hospital for like 3 weeks. They were trying to figure out what was going on, what was causing the migraines. And they were trying different medicines and nothing seemed to be working. So when I left the hospital, I was feeling better than I was when I got there, but I still wasn't feeling too good. So they gave me a referral to see a neurologist. And the neurologist put me on this medication. And at first, that didn't seem to be helping me either. But one day I was sitting at home watching TV and I was drinking one of my favorite drinks at the time. It was a Mountain Dew. I didn't feel like I didn't have a headache at the moment, but as soon as I started drinking that Mountain Dew, the migraine started to come back. So at that moment, I realized that it must be the caffeine that's causing these migraines. So I decided to stop, to leave the caffeine alone. Well, at that time, I didn't realize that chocolate also had caffeine. So I was still eating chocolate. And every time I would eat chocolate, I would get those headaches coming back. And then my husband brought it to my attention that chocolate also has caffeine. And let me tell you, I used to love Snickers. Snickers bars and almond joys were two of my favorite chocolate candies. But I had to let it go. So, looking at the response to the question of if you like chocolate or don't, it looks like most people said they like chocolate, but then there are those who don't. And Shay said that she was neutral. Yeah, I used to love some almond joys, Penelope. So again, I stopped with the caffeine, and it wasn't easy for me because not only did I not like Snickers and almond joys, but I used to love chocolate milk as well. So when I was thinking about that, I was thinking that no, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee either, Scorpio Mama. So everybody doesn't eat, or some can't eat chocolate. But there are three types of chocolate. Did you all know there were three types of chocolate? Yeah. Some people, when it comes to chocolate and migraines, some people, the caffeine helps them. And then there's some like me, and I guess Miss Buckeye and Miss Jazzy, that it does the opposite, has the opposite effect. But yep, white milk and dark chocolate. That's right. So I just recently found out that I thought all chocolate had caffeine, but the good news for me and maybe others is that white chocolate doesn't have caffeine. So if you're not eating chocolate because of the caffeine, white chocolate is an option. So that's good news for me and for others. But just like the chocolate is different. Hey, Marjan, just like chocolate is different, y'all. Guess what else? People are different, just like chocolate. We don't all look alike. We don't all think alike. We don't all sound alike. We're all different. Imagine living in a world where everybody was the same. To me, that would be boring. Actually, I don't even know if I can really imagine that. But different makes us all unique, and I see that as beautiful. For a long time, yes, you are Scorpio Mama. I agree with you, and I can appreciate your difference. But for a long time, right, Shay, I used to get frustrated with people who didn't see things the way that I see them. Right, Rosalind? But I've grown to realize that that's life. My husband and I will be celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary tomorrow. And guess what? We don't always agree on everything. For instance, some of our tastes in music are different. While I love country music, yes, I do love country music, my husband isn't a fan. He enjoys classical music, but I'm not really a fan of classical music. We agree on most things, but we don't agree on all things. But we both respect one another. We accept and embrace our differences. Thanks for the congrats. I believe that people who say they don't believe in marriage, I believe they should stay single. That's just my belief. Hey, Jamila. But then you have people who believe that maybe they just haven't met the right person and that right person may come along. And that's just how those people believe. Again, we're all different. We don't all look the same and we don't all think the same. But mutual respect will allow you to listen to others' points of view with an open mind. Hey, SBK, thanks for joining. That doesn't mean that what you say is going to change the other person's mind. It just gives you the opportunity to see someone else's point of view. Listen, that's right. I agree, Scorpio Mama. The marriage is not for everybody. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And that's not because I've had so much difficulties or that my marriage is terrible or that I wish that I had never gotten married, because I'll tell you this, if I had to do it all over again, I would. But just because marriage is for my husband and I doesn't mean that it's for everybody. Listen, none of us are perfect. I can tell you 100% that I'm not. There are things that I'm constantly working on. Let me, Vaughn said it's just the truth. I started a comment, y'all. Let me see what I started. Oh, Vaughn said, don't get married. Um, I don't know about your relationship, Vaughn, um, and that's your opinion. But I I would never tell someone um, don't get married if they desire to get married. Now, again, if someone says that they don't believe in marriage, then I don't believe that person should get married. That's just my belief. Other people have their own. Again, we're not the same. I said what I said you can't grow if everyone was the same. I agree. So let me share something else about me, y'all. I grew up in the church. My grandmother, when she was alive, she used to make sure that we attended church not only every Sunday, but also during the week when there was Bible study or whatever was going on. We were at church. But when I was 23 years old, I decided that I needed to rededicate my life to Christ. Even though I was baptized at the age of 7, I decided to get baptized again. Marjan said my mom should have never gotten married. She would never really liked being married and was always, I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying, Marjan. So Rosalind says today's marriage is hard. Um, yeah, but guess what? Life is hard at times too. So, Ashley is it'll be 36, Marjan. Okay, Vaughn. Thanks for clearing that up. All right, thanks, Senna. That is true, Scorpio Mama. But just because something isn't for you. Okay, Marjan. Just because something isn't for you doesn't mean that it isn't for someone else. Just like chocolate. Chocolate isn't for some people, and some people love chocolate. So, as I was saying, I decided to get baptized again because the first time I was just a child. Now, this might sound familiar to some people. You probably had the experience of dealing with people like I used to be. But I have to tell this because I see some of it happening in the world today. Once I got baptized again, I started feeling myself. I began to tell others that they needed to get saved and turn from their wicked ways. I told them if they didn't, they were doomed for hell. At the time, I didn't realize that people were beginning to avoid me. If they saw me coming, they go the opposite way. Many were becoming too busy to have a conversation with me. I'm thankful to God that one day another young lady pulled me to the side. She told me that I was doing what I was doing was having the opposite effect of what I was trying to get. Instead of drawing people to Christ, I was turning people off. I listened and I thought about what she said to me. It dawned on me that not one person had decided to get to know Christ based on what I said. I apologized and stopped what I was doing. We don't have to beat down others with our beliefs. Just show the love of God in everything you do. Sometimes you may miss the mark since none of us are perfect, but God really does know our hearts. Remember that we're all different and don't try to force anyone to believe as you believe. We're all different again. Just strive to be the best version of yourself daily. Remember to take sound advice when necessary. Don't stress yourself trying to create many me's in others. Be you and allow others to be themselves. Let me see if I have any more comments. Janice says, I've been married going on 27 years. And let me say, keep people out of your marriage. I'm going to leave that up for a minute, for a little while, because it is so truth. If you want to, want to, if you don't want your marriage to last too long, all you have to do is involve others in your marriage, in your relationship. Keep other people out of your marriage. That's some sound advice, Janice. Thank you. You say you've been together with your husband for 30 years. Yeah, it's 38 for us. We've been together 38, married 36. Say it again, real odds and evens. Marriage is right with the right person. People may complicate things. Wanda says she and her husband will celebrate 30 years this year. Congratulations to both of you. Yep, Abril, very important. Vaughn says marriage requires you to be selfless. That's why I say don't do it. But I wouldn't tell anybody who really wants to do it not to. I said what I said says today and yesterday marriages is and were hard. People just had more options. People just have more options now. People are speaking. Yes, congratulations, Wanda. Yes, Janice agreed. You can have the best without anyone knowing. Keep people out of your business. And really, you should keep people out of your business, whether you're married or single. That's just the way I see it. Because some people just want to be in your business so they can run tell that. And that's the truth. Janice is thanking Wanda, giving a big thank you. Shay is agreeing. Marjan is agreeing with I said what I said. Yes, Vaughn. I was one of them. I was one of those people. That's why I can usually tell when somebody just when somebody is new at what they say, when somebody says they're a new Christian, not all the time, but a lot of the times I can tell when they're new because, and it, I don't even necessarily blame the person. I think it can come from teaching because immediately people go to um, telling people that they're going to go to hell if they don't believe the way that this person believes. Thanks, Real. I'm gonna read these comments, some of these comments before I go on, y'all. Real always has something real to say. I'm sure the baby had a great weekend, Jamila. Say that again, real. What works for one may not work for others, but we can all work together. Vaughn said that doesn't only apply to adultery, y'all. Folks be messy for no reason. That is true. Scorpio said God loved married folks. Yeah, God loves everybody. Let me leave this up there for a minute too. Also, keep your relationship and marriage off of social media. Yeah, because you're inviting. That's a way of inviting others into your marriage. And let me tell you something that I found out a long time ago. When people have um, problems in their relationship, not only should they not involve you, but you shouldn't get involved. Because guess what? You get involved, you take sides. Next thing you know, that couple is back together and all lovey dovey. And you already taken sides and probably bad mouth the other person. And now they're back together and you feel small. So when you're married, when you're not married, whatever, keep people out of your relationship. Scorpio said too much living in sin. Hey. Hey, Urban. I'm glad you came because I had something to say about you too. Welcome to the live. See people still speaking. Let me see if I'm okay. So Bill said you would literally have people mad and jealous of you. I had a cousin and a friend tell me they didn't like seeing it. Excuse me. It bothered them because he and she wanted that kind of shock they even thought that. Hmm. Janice says, I grew up seeing my mom dedication to her marriage. My dad was unalive 40 years ago, and my mom was 44 years with 3 kids, and she never married or dated. It all depends, I guess. Yeah. Thanks, Rosalind. I appreciate you. Miss Boogie Down, how are you? Thanks for joining. Urban said, I need an explanation into why chocolate isn't for everyone besides the obvious. Well, Urban, you must not have been here at the beginning, but you can always go back to the beginning and listen. But I don't want you to do that right now because, like I said, I had something to say about you and I don't want you to miss it. Right, Vaughn? Yep. You become the bad person instead of them recognizing that both or the other is really the problem. I'm sure you did something, Urban. Wait a minute, I'm gonna come back to this one. You're not getting called out, Urban. Just stay tuned, okay? I'm not gonna be here much longer, but I wanted to make sure that I read these comments. Yeah, thanks everybody for liking the live. Janice says, Abril, I had to sit back reading your comment. Facts, and I wish someone would. No, he's not. He's not gonna get it, Ron. So let me let me go back. So listen, you may see that others just aren't your cup of tea, and that's fine. Everyone doesn't drink coffee, and everyone doesn't care for tea. But just because someone isn't your cup of tea doesn't mean that you have to plot against them. We should just go on with our lives and mind our business. Hey, Blue, thanks for joining. Today's scripture verse comes from Proverbs 26:27, the New Living Translation. And it says, if you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. If you rolled a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead. Remember that if you wouldn't want it done to you, don't do it to others. I believe in accepting the differences in others, whether I agree or not. That doesn't mean that everyone should be invited into your space. It's okay to love from a distance. It's okay to disagree without being disagreeable. I've said this before, but I don't mind sharing it again. So listen up. When it comes to Urban, there are many things that I disagree with him on. But I respect the fact that he gives his opinion and allows others to give their opinions without being totally disrespectful. So that's what I had to say about you, Urban. I appreciate you always. Thank you all for joining this live. And if there are any other comments, feel free to put them in the chat. I forgot to add the link, so I'm going to do that right now. And if anyone wants to come up and share their thoughts on the subject, feel free to do so. And once again, thanks, Urban. I appreciate you. Abril said, that's why it's important to mind your business. and keep your tongue off of others' relationships, marriages, kids, and deceased loved ones. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute, just in case somebody wants to take a screenshot of that. I'll repeat it for those who aren't watching but just listening. Abril said, that's why it's important to mind your business and keep your tongue off of others' relationships, marriages, kids, and deceased loved ones. Thanks for that comment, Abril. Can somebody do me a favor and one of the mods, can you put SBK's link in the chat? SBK's Real Odds and Evens, and who am I missing? Dimples. Hey there. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Okay, hold up, y'all. I have some people that want to come up.
Look here.
Hey, y'all. I'm
Look
looking.
here.
I'm looking.
Look here. It is too late in the afternoon for all this foolishness from you, Alice.
Foolishness.
I said, hey, what's up? How you doing, sweetheart?
Hey, Urban, how you doing today?
I'm doing good for a Monday. So I was doing great until Alice called me out. Then she called me out in a good way. And now I don't know how to feel about it.
Well, count it
I
all as joy.
Yeah, I can't even come up here and troll her now because she started off making it seem like it was, then all of a sudden, I love my brother.
Well, you shouldn't jump to conclusions, Urban. You have to be patient and you have to listen.
I listen to understand. I do. I do.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, I
see,
know
if
I
you would
do.
have jumped the gun, you would have had the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was chilling out. I ran out of the comment section and came straight on up here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord, Von's up here, man. I'm finna go. She gonna have us up here for like 5 hours.
Lies. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Vaughn.
Bond, don't bring your preacher voice on here, Bond.
what?
Don't.
What?
That means that no.
What?
Hold up. Let me clarify. Don't give us five. I'm getting ready to go because I know that's how you do. I'm getting ready to get off of here.
Ooh, she was getting ready to go all night last night, Alice. I said, you know what? I am gonna stop playing with Vaughn. This child got me up. I think I went to bed at 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh,
Messing around
wow.
with, and then when I woke up, you still was online. I'm like, what is wrong? I'm like, I can't believe they still online. And
Y'all
I
got to
didn't get
blame
up till
Lionel for that
7.
one.
Man.
Y'all got to blame Lionel. That's all his fault.
Nah, Lionel don't have nothing to do with that. That was all on you. You the host. Doing
That was
10-hour
that was
streams.
leaving the most. You know, she was leaving every 30 minutes. I'm finna get off of here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, Von, she trying to get her watch hours so she be monetized. That's why I believe that's her intentions.
Oh, is that what you're doing, Bond?
Miss
Ba-
Alice, that's not true. I've been monetized.
well, baby,
I
she got
am
them all.
monetized.
She got them all last night. You can rest assured that. That was my first time.
she got she got all of her hours in one night.
Yeah, she did like a 8-hour show.
It was 9 hours, but that was on accident. I haven't done a 9 hour live and I don't in forever. That's not gonna be a normal thing
I'm
ever.
like, Vaughn act like she
Girl,
on her
you did a
black
whole
job or
shift.
something.
She did a whole shift.
Yeah, she did a whole. She acted like she was on her black job last night.
Lord.
But now on the cool though, Alice. Hey, I appreciate that a whole lot, and I do my best to listen to understand, and when I do say stuff, believe me, it's a purpose behind it. So
Mhm. Yeah, I
y'all
believe
could
you.
come in. Oh, y'all thought I had
Oh,
more to say. This ain't my
yeah.
show. I'm not gonna give y'all no detail.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
laughing at Scorpio Mama. She said we're gonna be here for hours. No, we're not Scorpio.
Yeah, because you got the three people up here that talks way too much, but
I said what I said.
that
Well,
can
what?
go. Huh?
Oh, I get it. So Alice Vance, and I said what I said.
Uh-uh.
Y'all the one who talk too much, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I,
Gotcha.
well,
No, Mr. Lounge.
me and Vaughn already said that on our lives. We let people know, listen, we talk a lot, and
Exactly. So it's
and got
me,
in trouble
you.
for it as a kid and everything.
Yep. It's me, you, and Mr. Lounge that talk too much. Miss Alice don't like to be up here too long.
Say it again, Vaughn.
Now, lies. Well, where my cap at?
Stop with the
Cap.
cat.
Well, Blue
See,
Oh
say
shit.
Alice have to be up here at least an hour, so she said
Hey SBK.
you can't be coming up here for no 30 minutes and then just drop the word and then
huh.
shoot some deuces. That ain't gonna work.
Hey, I could do it. I just show up, show out, and leave.
Well, I
Y'all
want
say
to.
hello to SBK.
Hey, SBK, I was on his show last night. He kept calling me out. So I had to go on up there.
Uh-huh.
I had to go on up there and let him know what's up.
SB,
I'm, I was
SBK,
like,
what's up with it, bro?
What's going
yeah,
on, brother? How you
I'm like,
doing,
he
Urban?
think he want me up
Doing
there.
good.
Hey, ladies,
Look,
how
I
y'all doing?
Hey,
I caught
SBK.
some of that in the bushes and I caught the rest earlier today.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. We had fun last night. I appreciate you supporting and watching, listening.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to come up anytime. Yeah, I called out. Yeah, I called you out. I said
Yeah, kept calling me out.
we had fun though.
Hey, Alice rarely gonna come up, bro. So you'll be holding your breath on that one. The one time she's gonna pull up is on her show. But however, in the chat, she will be the loudest one in the chat for sure.
Well, Alice, I want to talk about what you talked about today. And
Thank you. Thank you for staying on topic.
Hold
yeah,
on, I
I
said what I
understand the
said.
assignment and I'm going to bring it back to the topic.
I said
And,
what I said.
huh?
Hold on 1 second. I just want to say this real quick. Miss Alex, I'm gonna feel some type of way if you get on SBK panel or Mr. Lounge panel before you come on mine. I just want to say that real quick.
She
Okay,
already
Vaughn.
she already been on my panel. What you talking about, Vance?
Okay, now I'm in my feelings, but go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
You been on my panel. What you talking about?
I'm
A
just
lot.
saying. I want Miss Alex to come visit me too. I'm just saying.
You ain't special.
Vaughn, are you the baby of the family?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I figure so. I understand. But as far as what you were saying, and it was basically some of the things that Vaughn was saying last night on her show, because she had a great show. It was a marathon, but it was great. And I hung as long as I could. But I totally understand what both of you guys are saying when you say it. You want to tell people about God. When you first learn about God and you feel his presence and you feel like you have the Holy Ghost or what have you, you get very excited about the word and you just want to run out and tell everybody about the word, because I felt the same way. When I first got in church and I started really learning the Bible and started learning God for myself, and it's very invigorating, and it's like it's something that you can't contain. You don't mean any harm to people, but you just want them to feel the same excitement and enlightenment that you have. And some people can take that the wrong way. And so you do have to be careful how you approach people.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of speaking on what Lionel was saying about in Vaughn's channel last night, I was that type of person when I first got in church. It's not that I was just being um, trying to challenge people, but I had a lot of questions. and I feel like if I ask a question, that's the only way that I'm, know things. And
Right.
so a lot of people felt like I was challenging them, and I wasn't trying to challenge them. I was just trying to get information from them. And it could be the way that I, formed the question or whatever, or just the excitement about it. So you do have to be careful how you approach people when you are talking about church and when you're talking about the Lord in the Bible. Because some people, they don't see it as you see it or what have you. And, everybody have to follow their own journey and they have to seek God out for themselves. But it is your job to go out and tell people about God because, that's what the Bible says. We are supposed to tell everybody about the word. And if you don't know the word, then you don't know that you're supposed to go out and tell people about it. And so I feel like that's why some people get offended about it. So that's what I wanted to say about that, Alice.
Okay.
Hey, I want to chime in on that. See, I used to be that same way too, where I'll be kind of careful about the things that I say, right? But as I become older and more wise, I learned that it's better for me to be unapologetic. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that when I be that way, I make sure that I do it in the most respectable way possible. But even when I do it that way, people are still going to have their opinion about it. And I believe that at the end of the day, once when that person says something right, it's the receiving part where cause the confusion where people they'll be like, well, no, I don't believe in what you say, blah 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 blah, and then that person who originally told the information, they take it as disrespect because they're not agreeing with them, and we shouldn't be that way. Just like I told Vance earlier today on the show, it's better for us to be unbiased and in our own opinions. That way, you can at least consider the possibility thereof. You don't necessarily have to agree with it, but you can stay unbiased. That way you can understand where they're coming from. And that way you won't be triggering your own feelings and emotions about it.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to hit on the point about getting in other people's relationships. And so I found that a lot of times when people are going through problems, they do seek other people out to listen to them and to sometimes possibly give them advice. But I had to learn the hard way not to offer the advice and let them ask me what do I think of, or
Mm-hmm.
I had to respect their boundaries and learn how to just listen to whatever it is, whatever problem that a person has. Because a lot of times when people are telling you their problems, they're really not looking for an answer. In my opinion, a lot of people are looking for you to agree with them. And then if you don't agree with them, sometimes they get mad at you as well, especially if you call them out. And if you feel like that they are wrong in a certain situation, then they'll feel like that you're not on their side, or that you're just trying to call them out. I mean, that you're not on their side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not
Mm-hmm.
so much that you're not on their side, and you have to let people know I'm not on anybody's side. I'm just listening to what you say, and you ask me for my opinion, and that's all it is. It's just my opinion, but ultimately you're going to make the choice of what you want to do, and you're going to do what you want to do anyway. But I can wholeheartedly agree with keeping friends and family and social media out of your business, because when you break up with someone and then you decide to get back with them, well, everybody else is still mad at that person, but
Mm-hmm.
you're living happily ever after because you forgave you forgave your spouse or what have you. But everybody else don't feel that same way. So in my opinion, it's best to keep your relationship away from your friends and family, unless it's just something that something horrific or what have you. But if you're going through something which in your relationship and you just can't solve the problem, then I would advise you maybe just go to talk to somebody that's going to be neutral, and somebody that doesn't really know you or your spouse, so that they can give you a more realistic answer, and a non-biased answer. And
Right.
that way you can keep your family and friends, and that way, if you do decide to get back with your spouse, well, your family and friends don't even know that you had a problem, so everything could still be kosher or what have you. Because I am that person, honey. I'm a ride or die like type person, and if you get mad at your person, I'm gonna be mad with you. Okay.
Right.
Exactly.
And then when you get back with them, I'm beside now you like, didn't this ninja just do so and so
Uh-huh.
last week, and now you back with them? I don't understand that. And so
Right.
and so it's really best to keep me out your relationship, because I'm gonna ride or die for my friend, but I'm still gonna tell them what's right or wrong, but I'm still gonna be biased and sympathetic towards my friend. Whoever I'm friends with in that relationship. So I prefer not to know.
Um, I want to come up. I want to come up here for a few things. So I'm gonna piggyback off of I said what I said with the whole relationship. Now, Miss Alice, okay, everybody on the panel. So
And
everybody
hey,
up here
Key.
knows, okay, I've been married 11 years now, and I've been with Jim since I was 19, right? So when I said don't get married, I'm not trying to discourage people out of marriage, because I do feel that marriage can be a wonderful thing when you're with the right person and y'all do things right. You know what I'm like, according to how God wants things to go and things of that nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, okay, and I've talked about this on my live, so I ain't telling nobody nothing new. I personally, so I got married when I was 24. Before we got married, I feel like our relationship was great. Like, we was good, it wasn't no, real problems, we were just good. My grandparents and other married people was just making it like marriage was this most wonderful thing, and we was missing out, and we was gonna look up and the rapture was gonna come, and he was gonna drop dead, and I was gonna be manless, and my children was gonna be fatherless. So my thing is, and I tell all my friends this, um, marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's not what other people, no shade to nobody. It's not what, because some people like to weaponize marriage and make people feel like because they not married, this, and that, God, they like to bring God in it. And I just think that's unfair to young, impressionable people. Because how I feel is my husband and I, we were young and impressionable. We wanted the happy ever after situation, and the beginning stages of marriage kicked our butts. So what I do is I'm honest with people, and I feel like other married people, not necessarily putting your business out there, but keeping it real that marriage is not a fairy tale. It's not something you can just go into expecting everything to be great. It's not something you should go into expecting the other person to be perfect or anything, because that, in my opinion, that's why a lot of young people get divorced real fast, because you got all these people out here. I used to call it the happily ever after marriage club, okay, and it wasn't until we were actually married that people wanted to start telling us the truth, and it was like, what? Why would? So for me, it's just like a look. Are you sure you want to do this? Because this is it's hard work. If you believe in God, it's best to have him in the situation. And if you don't, it's still best to have him in the situation. Because marriage is not it's not how people hype it up to be on social media, in church. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like people don't be giving people the real behind it, because they want to make it like it's, you know, all that. And I'm not saying that it's not, but like I said, some people like to showboat and make things more than what they are, and they're not being honest with people.
Well, when it comes to marriage, um, you, well, you're combining two different lives, um, and what works for some people may not work for others. So when you, it can be confusing when you're listening to other people trying to tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing. Um, and when people say they're giving you the real about marriage, they're probably giving you the real about their marriage, but that's their relationship. And each relationship is different. It's just like when you have multiple children, your children have, they're all different. They're not all the same. Um, with my three children, they all have different personalities. Two of them might have similar personalities. The other two might be similar in other different ways, but they're all different. And just like people are different, relationships are different. So I wouldn't, and I got married at an early age too, Vaughn. Um, Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Yes, those who can do simple math can figure out my age, and that's fine because every day above earth is a blessing. But I got married when I was 25 years old, and we were both young. And we had some growing pains. We had some things that we had to learn on our own. And the reason why I can tell you not to involve other people in your relationship is because my husband and I made that mistake early on in our marriage, and it didn't work out well. Um, we had people that wanted to give their advice, and like I said, what I said, if you're going to get someone involved in your relationship, don't do it. Don't involve people that are close to you, your relatives and stuff, because they're going to give their advice may not necessarily be the best advice. I'll just say it like that. So be careful of who you're talking to when it comes to your relationship. The good thing is that even though you're saying I got married when I was young, you're still young. And life isn't perfect, and neither are relationships. If somebody tells you that they agree with everything their spouse does or says, they never have disagreements. 9 times out of 10, they
They're
are
lying.
lying. They're lying.
And they be lying so hard, Miss Alice. But
right.
yeah.
Either they're lying or they're flunkies. Somebody in a relationship is a flunky because we're different. We're different. So we have different mindsets. My husband and I came from different backgrounds. He was raised in a household, 2-parent household, and I wasn't. So you have to embrace your differences, and you have to work on your relationship. And if you want to involve someone, if you feel like you need counseling or something, don't go to a family member. Go to somebody who has experience and has the expertise to deal with that. Don't just involve anybody in your marriage. That's all I have to say.
I will say this though. Out of all the married people that I came across, it was the one, and I think I said it in the chat, but it was the one person who was like, don't do it, don't do it. That I started to understand why she was saying don't do it. It wasn't that she wasn't happy for me, or because she came to the, the uh, ceremony and things like that. But I felt like this whole time you were keeping it real with me. Everybody else was, and I was even kind of judging people like, oh, you're just unhappy, woo, 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 whatever, right? But that one person that was just like telling me the real, like the real ins and outs of marriage, right? and I started to experience them, it was like, oh, and do me and that person still talk? Yes. However, I now more so understand where she was coming from, and we have a great relationship because it's like out of all those people that was, putting on a face and pretending and being fake, she keeps it real. And no, she's not gonna say leave your husband. It's just more so, you know, we can talk because you not gonna sit up here and make it like, oh well, there's something wrong with y'all marriage then. Because whole time, like you said, every relationship marriage has its issues, and there's nothing wrong with, not putting people in your business, but to put on a show and a facade and be out here promoting it, and the whole time you're really unhappy, like for real unhappy, I think that's wrong. Me personally, I just think it's wrong for, other people, you know what I'm saying, and be giving advice at that. Like, you just need to be quiet.
Yeah, yeah. If your marriage is a wreck, I agree. Don't be out here trying to give other people advice when it comes to marriage. I would say
Yeah.
just keep it to yourself. That's what I would say.
And
Thanks,
it's
Diane
social
Black,
media.
for joining.
It's social media, and that's what I call a social media marriage. They'll show you everything that's good, about what's going on with their lives, but then when things go bad, you don't see that part of it.
Right.
It's not, in a lot of instances.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you everything that's good. Oh, we're on vacation. Oh, we doing this, we're doing that. And even I've seen some, big social media influencers, that was husband and wife, and they were showing all, the good in it. And then one day, we're getting ready to get a divorce. Well, y'all was just on vacation last week.
Right. Right.
Living y'all best life.
Right.
And now y'all getting a divorce, make that make sense. And
Uh-huh.
so that's why I say just don't put your relationship on social media, because
Right.
like Vaughn said, you're giving people a false sense of hope and a false sense of reality when you do that, because like I said, most people on social media is all for cap and flaunting this, look at me, and look what I have,
Right.
and a lot of people do get mesmerized and they get mistaken thinking that marriage is like that
Uh-huh.
it is every day is roses, and everything is going to be blitz, and that's not how it go.
Right. Just like if you're single,
Yes,
every day is not
glitter and
rainbows and
gold. No,
sunshine.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yeah.
It's not. And so at the end of the day, people think, oh, if I was single, I'll be doing this and that and the other. But oh, if I was married, me and my spouse will be doing this and that. And it's not like that. Life is just not like that at all.
Right. SBK, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm listening and learning. I'm not. I've never been married. Everybody on the panel has either been married or is currently married. Um, the thing that I like what you said, Miss Alice, earlier, before everybody got on the panel, is that it's all about hard work. Um, Whenever you are in a relationship or you're in marriage, I think a lot of couples don't do what it takes to make it last, and it's going to take hard work. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't know what it's like to be married, but what I see personally is they, couples don't do what it takes, and you guys are totally right when it comes to the influence of social media and television. Everybody wants to have this fairy tale type marriage and be glamorous and so forth and so on, but they don't understand what these Hollywood and these superstars are doing behind the scenes.
Right.
That's all fake. You know what I mean? When you look at it, behind the scenes. So, like Vaughn says, it gives a lot of young people, and not just young people, but people like myself. Whenever couples are out here faking and fronting that they have good relationships, they're out here, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and and it's all hunky dory, but they'll end up, being divorced here pretty soon. So,
Right.
I just think that people just don't understand that hard work it entails in any type of relationship, whether you're marriage, whether it's you're raising kids, it's hard work, and people just don't want that responsibility of just working hard.
Right.
I see a lot of times uh, where a lot of couples, a lot of marriage couples, they just simply forget to date their spouse. You know what I mean? Do what it takes to you got her by dating her. You got him by
Mhm.
doing what's necessary to get their attention. So once they get married, all of that newness wears off and all that. So and that's something that I've just observed. I just me, I don't have anything against marriage. I'm skeptical about it. To be honest with you guys, I'm skeptical about it because it just seems like today marriage is not taken serious, and I take marriage very serious. When you're exchanging vows, so forth and so on, you're going to be true to that person that you
Mhm.
want to spend the rest of your life with. But I think today it's just looked at as a fad in a lot of ways. Uh, this person is get married because this person is get married. You know what I mean? And so that's what that's what I personally see. You know, and it's just not respected like it's supposed to. You know what I mean? So, and I like what y'all said. Don't get it twisted. Grandma and grandpa, they had issues. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
times are marriage was hard back then. You just have to work at it. You know what I mean? It's just that I think a lot of from speaking from experience from my grandparents, they took a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Grandpa was out here, rolling like a rolling stone or whatever, and had different families on the side and so forth. But his wife was holding it down at the house. You know what I mean? So it just it just so happened that a lot of times, Grandpa just got too old to be out there. You know what I mean? So he stayed at the house. You know what I mean? So
Ah.
so
Exactly.
so I just don't subscribe to people saying, "Oh, marriage is easy and marriage is this and marriage is blissful." No, man. It's just like in any relationship, uh, it takes hard work. So
Right. Right.
And I think also one thing people forget that marriage is a contract. Okay. It's a contract.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And you have to fulfill your portion of the contract. And if you don't feel your proportion of the contract, and it's like really, I mean, it's supposed to be about love also, but it's a contract and it's a business and it's a commitment. It's several things, and people don't really understand all of all of the aspects of marriage. And just like SBK said, Grandpa was a Rolling Stone, and Grandma just put up with it. And so, um, and I put in the chat a while ago. Yeah, some because somebody said marriage is hard these days, and just like you just said, marriage has always been hard. It's just
Mhm.
that people have more options now, because in the 50s and 60s, a lot of times uh, you had bigger families, right? And where were you going to go if you were a woman and you had five or six, eight, nine, 10 kids? And even in some states,
Mm-hmm.
just like with Aretha Franklin, if you look at her story, her mom, and you'll see that a lot, back in the day, if a woman did decide to leave, well, the law was you couldn't take your children with you. So a lot of grandmothers stayed because they wanted to stay with their children. It wasn't so
Right.
much that they wanted to stay in that marriage. They wanted to be in they wanted to keep their children, and they didn't have any other options because a lot of women just didn't work, and you couldn't get employed, and even if you did work, it wasn't going to be enough to suffice to take care of a home. And so I feel like that's why marriage is so easy to get out of today, because today you can, as a woman, you can make it without a husband. And society accepts divorce more than they used to accept it. And even back in the day, a woman couldn't even get a credit card in some states. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's just that the laws and the times have changed, and that's why you see more divorces today than you used to back in the day. Or that's why people say, marriage is hard today. It's no harder today than it was yesterday. It's just that your options have
Facts.
changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
And
and older people like y'all been saying, they kept people out their business, and they just,
Right.
and women really didn't have, I'm not gonna say a voice. Well, I mean, they
They
didn't. They
didn't.
really
They
didn't have a
didn't. They
voice.
didn't
They
have a
didn't
voice.
have an option but to be with their husband.
Right.
So I agree with that. It ain't no harder today than it was back then.
Yeah. And then that you didn't have so much access to your husband. You didn't call him. My grandmother didn't call my grandfather every 5 minutes. She wasn't texting him to find out what he was doing and where he was going. She didn't have that much access to him. When he left the house at 6 o'clock, well, we didn't see him until 6 o'clock in the evening because he was at work. And just like SBK said, the same thing it took to to get your spouse, that's the same thing it's going to take to keep your spouse. And so and this is no shade to anybody, but I feel like if you met your spouse and you looked a certain way, and us as women and men too, we kind of forget about the things that we did to get the spouse. Because when you're dating somebody or you first meet them, you give them your best performance. And I always tell people, I don't want to meet your representative. I want to meet you. Because if I meet your representative, I might not like who you are for once the honeymoon phase is over with. So I need to know who you are from day one, not your representative. And most of the time, that's who we bring into a relationship. We bring our representative. We bring what we feel like another person, we bring like our best selves. Let's
Mm-hmm.
put it that way. We bring our best selves to a relationship. And then when we find out who the real person is, sometimes, we don't like who that person is after you pull back some layers. And so people really need to be honest, and show who they are. And, in my opinion, like your first date, you shouldn't even, however you dress every day and however you look every day, I feel like that's how you are to go out on a date on your very first date. Don't go up there, putting your best suit on or your best dress and your best face and your best hair. No, go be who you are. So give that person an opportunity to make that decision on whether or not they want to be with you on a day-to-day basis. Because you can rest assured, if you go up there in your business suit or if you go up there with your wig and your face on, then that person may look for that person all the time, and you may be disappointing that person once you take all of that stuff off. And I'm not saying it's, don't fix yourself up. I'm not saying that. But it's more realistic if you just take your authentic self to somebody and let them accept you for who you really are, then let them accept, your representative or an illusion of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we are in a really, really good space in this conversation. The reason why is because it's going into the area of talking about what do you bring to the table. Now, based on what all y'all saying, right? The modern day men and women, right? They bring a lot of value to the table now. They bring their education, they bring their careers, they bring a lot of stuff to the table now. But we also have to consider that um, just because they bring this to the table, they could do fine by themselves as well too. So the question that we need to be asking ourselves is this: what other type of value that's going to be very valuable that you're going to bring into the table to the relationship? Because obviously you already got the finances, you already got the education, you already got the experience, you already have the social economical status as well too. So what other type of value that you could bring to the table? My conclusion is this: is that it have to go beyond your education, you have to go beyond your social economical status, you have to go beyond your money, everything. What you bring to the table is actually your overall character. That is what's going to make that relationship sustain the way it is. The reason why the modern day relationship don't last as long is because people don't have good characteristics of themselves. People do not have good morals of themselves as well too. They live in way too loose and they have unrealistic expectations. So it's like I say on my own show all the time, it's better for us to vet out each other to see if we're going to be a good fit for each other based on characteristics, not based on the money or the status or anything like that, but it have to be the character, because that's what's going to sustain the relationship. That's what's going to hold on to the relationship. And also consider this too, and I'll be done. Consider this as well too. Through the talks of, us dating ourselves and staying healthy and all this stuff, that's a part of it. But we also have to take into consideration that all of us are destined to age no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So by us aging, we're not going to have a lot of energy to do all that, like how we used to do when we was youthful, like date each other, have incredible sex all the time, go out all the time, because you're not going to be wanting to do that as you get older. So it have to be something there that's going to continue to make that stand. The only other solution I could think of is your characteristic, your moral. That's what you should be falling in love with, is that person characteristics, that person morality as well too.
Yeah.
I wanted to add in something to that, to piggyback off of Urban. As a man, and if I'm ready for marriage, and I'm looking for that, what he was saying, bringing to the table, and a lot, and he's exactly right. When folks say that when they're going into a relationship or going into marriage, what can that person bring to the table? They automatically think about your social status and money and so forth. Me, I'm looking at the moral aspect, and the very number one thing for me as a man is a peace of mind. And I want the lady that I choose to be with or to marry or whatever. I just want to have a peace of mind. I don't want to come home to strife. I don't want to come home to confusion. I don't want to come home to arguments. You know what I mean? I want us to be on the same page, and that only takes, that's going to take communication, of course, and just humility. You know what I mean? So I'm taking a step further from what he's saying. He was talking about basically your character, and those things, are a part of your character. Having a peace of mind, and the only way you can have a peace of mind is communication, and just basically humbling yourself. A lot of times, the battles that you fight, verbally, it could be stopped, and it can all be handled if one person just says, "Hey, man, I'm going to be humble enough to look. I, you know, I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. Let's tackle this another way. Let's work this out." You know what I mean? And so that's what I truly believe in myself. I'm looking at myself inwardly. I can only speak for myself, but every man I truly believe wants a peace of mind. You know what I mean? And so and ladies too. But I know for myself, it would be a peace of mind and having that comfort that I'm not going to come home and to a bunch of nonsense, so to speak.
Hey, let me also add on to that as well too. In my relationship right now, my marriage, one thing that I do love about my wife, Mrs. Zerban, is that she absolutely, to the best of her ability, bring that peace of mind where SBK is talking about. She really do, to the best of her ability. Now, with that being said, do we have our opportunities where we disagree? Absolutely, we do. Do we have opportunities where we disagree and we just disagree and we just can't agree at all? Absolutely, that happens. The reason why is because we're human. We're two totally different individuals with two totally different ideologies, upbringing, and everything. But the difference between that and a lot of other people relationships is that we're willing to not only accept that, but to respect it as well too, and move forward and still coexist in our relationship. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everything that SBK was saying, yeah, I totally agree with that. You know what I'm saying? You have to maintain that peace for the man and also maintain that peace for the woman as well too. And work on it. And just work on it.
One other thing, and I'll let y'all talk whatnot. Man, don't crucify me, ladies and gentlemen. But that is the main reason why I am skeptical when it comes to marriage, because I'm not one to argue. I'm not one to fight.
Oh, you cut out, bro.
Maybe you have to drop down and come back up.
Yeah, for a second I thought it was me. I was up here checking my internet and everything. Dang.
I
Still
know.
there, SBK? We can't hear you.
Yeah, he may have to drop down and come back up.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. So I had to unlearn all that in my current relationship. I had to just unlearn all the stuff that I learned in the past and relearn all over again. And that's another thing too. Now that I think about it, is that you should have bring your past experience into a new relationship and try to compare and contrast that, because when you do that, that's unrealistic as well too. You know, well, would y'all agree to that?
Yeah, because why would you bring the, no shade, to the ex-wife, but why would you bring, the messed up relationship to the new relationship? Why would you do that?
Because you're not, if you do that, you're not over it, in my opinion. If you can't,
Facts.
if you
That part
can't,
I
if
said
you
what I
can't,
said, right?
if you can't stop talking about your spouse, then that means you're not over them. And if they affect you like that, then uh, you may
Y'all
want
might
to
as
take
well
some
just get
time
back
out.
together.
Well, I don't know about that, but because it's a reason
Yep.
why you didn't. But it's a reason why you left. So my
Yeah.
motto
It.
is I don't go backwards. I go forward. So I'm just saying. But
Right.
you just might need some more time for healing. That's all. I wouldn't advocate anybody go back. I mean, I mean that's if you want to.
Yeah, it,
Right.
it can also be considered that it's a form of trauma bonding as well too. You
Right.
dealt a bad relationship, and finding someone who's in that similar experience and bond with them and compare and contrast that previous relationship. You know what
Well,
I'm saying? And then once when you do that, you set an unrealistic expectation, creating a vow, say, well, I'm not gonna be like this person, you're not gonna be like this person. But the
yeah.
moment when you mess up, then guess what? Trouble in paradise.
Well, I made that mistake. I made that mistake. It's not so much that I brought up the past relationship, but I was really used to being married, and I really do. I really did enjoy being married, and so I wholeheartedly feel like I hurried up and got married again because I just like the institution of marriage. But you can't just get married because that's what you like, or that's what you were comfortable in, and so and it's called what is it, rebounding, and I wholeheartedly
Yeah,
feel,
rebounding.
yeah, I
A
wholeheartedly
rebound
feel,
relationship.
yeah, I rebounded because I was just used to being married, and I really was just kind of spoiled. I'm not gonna even lie to you, because I kind of had it made. I didn't have to do that. I really did kind of have it made as far as finances go, and even as far as everything, because my ex-husband did everything. He worked, and he would rearrange the whole house, and he could cook, he could fix the car, he could do everything. And so I just thought that next relationship I was going to get all of that, and I had a rude awakening. Everybody is not the same, so that's why it's very important to make sure that you're over a relationship before you jump into another relationship, because a lot of times if you do that, you're just going to find another broken relationship if you're not over the first one, or you're not
I
over
said what I
the
said.
last one. Yeah.
I need you to come visit me so we can talk, because I need to understand how you left this wonderful man, girl. I need to know.
Well,
Hey, Shane doing all that. Don't be trying to get content off of her. Leave her alone.
didn't we just say keep your business off the internet,
You
Vaughn?
you did, but I'm just saying, we could like talk in code. Everybody ain't got to know what we talking about. I understand
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, it's I have some deal breakers, and so if you break my deal, then it's the contract. If you break the contract, then I'm not
Right.
obligated to stay in it, and that's how it go. You can have the most wonderful
Right.
person on earth, and but material things are just that. It's just material things. But if like
Mm-hmm.
just like Urban just said, it's the characteristics, and it's the person themselves because you should be able to love your spouse whether they give you everything you want or not, because you love that person, not not what they can give you. If they give you a lot of things, and if you know have everything you want, that's just a perk of the relationship. It's not the relationship.
Facts.
Okay, so that's why. So you understand me now?
Perfectly. I promise you.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. And so a lot of people will stay in a broken relationship because of the perks, and but you're still unhappy. And in my opinion, my happiness is just like the guys say they peace is everything. Well, my happiness is everything to me. I need to be happy. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be happy 365 days out of the year. That's unrealistic. Things are going to happen and you're not going to be happy. But I need to be happy at least 80% of that time. Okay. I do need to be happy at least 340 days of the year. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Hey, y'all. Hello?
I'm still here.
Hey there.
Oh, what's going
Hi,
on, man?
real.
How y'all doing? What's going on? I'm just like, I got to come up here and drop my $5.42 up inside this conversation.
Oh, hey, Ali, I thought you was SBK.
Oh,
I didn't
no.
look at your avatar. I just heard your voice, and your voices kind of sound the same.
Oh, but before I say anything, how y'all doing? Peace and blessings. God bless y'all. Get my
Peace and
positive
Hey,
blessings.
vibes before. So, just one little thing I wanted to add, which can add to all of y'all's conversation and what I've seen, and I respect all of y'all's comments and everything that we've came out of y'all own perspectives of what we see. And it's like, honestly, I can agree with all of y'all. And the reason why I say that, and this is one of the most important things to help have a successful relationship and a successful marriage, is by determining what you and your mate or you and your person determines to be successful. And once you put that down inside stone between you and your lover, it's like anything can fly and go, and you can go to happiness instead of looking at anybody else's relationship or anybody else's marriage. What you find successful and what you find happy and what you find grounding for you might not be for anybody else. So when we stop looking at
Amen.
when you stop looking at oh, well, this person said this is what you got to have a successful marriage, or this person said you got to have this. It's like, no, y'all could be fine going out to eat with one another, eating good foods, eating bad foods, traveling to this little place. And it's like, so what? Oh, you can't go to this place or Cancun, Mexico, or this or that. Y'all go down by the river, go down by the pond. That's your happiness. Don't let anybody other's happiness dictate what your life should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
And once you start to realize that, it's like one of y'all was saying, all these people's lives, it's like, yes, it's fake. Half of it's not real. They get their income tax, and it's like they go up online and, oh, this is this and this is like, them be the most unhappiest people because they're
Yep.
perpetuating.
well, we can
Yeah,
look at
right?
the stars. Look at the stars. Don't they have everything that everybody think they want under
Right.
the sun?
Yep. I was talking about that last night.
Yeah, they have everything that you think that you want as far as finances, because let's keep it real. A lot of people feel like if they got financial security, that's their happiness, and a lot of times that's not the case. They have everything that they desire, and they're still not happy.
Right.
We can even use Agent Orange. That man is one of the richest me. And now when I say that, that's y'all president, not mine, y'all's. But
You know how I feel about that.
right. But Agent Orange has everything under the sun, including power. And that man is still unhappy every single day of his life.
Because more money doesn't equal more happiness. And I keep
Exactly.
telling people that because let's just say, right? I want people to understand this too. People always want more, 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 and more money, right? We understand that's what makes the world go round, and sometimes we need more of it. But sometimes look at the situation of what you're in, right? sometimes more money can cause more problems, because now it's like, okay, now I got all this money. Now you're buying all this craziness and this crazy food. Now you got money to buy all this extra liquor. Now you got money to buy all these extra cigarettes and buy all these drugs. Now you're getting high. Sometimes God will look at a certain situation and be like, you know what? I'm going to set you here for now, but I'll give it to you later, because if I give it to you now, you could go deep off the deep end just because you have more money. So God knows his timing with how to give you things. And you know, everybody gonna have their turn, but it's just he knows us better than we know ourselves.
And most people that have money take a lot of time trying to keep their money, because just like you said, you make all of this money and then you get real busy trying to keep it.
Thanks,
And
Shay.
and it changes a lot of times. It changes you. You know, it changes your perspective of life, and well, I don't even say it changes you. It actually just bring out your the real you and your character. Because I know we all know these people that started out poor and then they got money, and then you say, "Ooh, they changed." Well, no, they didn't change. That's just who they were, and it just brought the money just brought out the real person, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I have a whole lot of my friends. Like, I make whatever I make, but now some of my boys who have climbed up that ladder, they making 6 and 7 figures, and oh, I do this and I sell all this insurance, and you need to be on this level. But then it's like they making all this money high level and telling me what to do, and yet can't even keep a female, going on these sugar daddy sites and all this stuff. And I'm looking at you like, wait, are you crazy? Yet I'm sitting up here still in the same relationship, and they telling you what to do. But yet you're not married, you're not inside of a relationship, you're just making a whole lot of money. And you sitting here telling other people what to do and what not to do. And it's just like, it's crazy. That's why I'm a big advocate for y'all to also feel like, don't even listen to what, like, if somebody's sitting around eating freaking hot Takis crushed up over chitlins, but they want to tell you about your life, it's like, I'm not going to listen to you. Like, half these people that tell y'all this stuff or try to piss y'all off, they're mad, they're jealous, they're upset. And it's like, they're not on a spiritual level like y'all. Like, I can already see who's who, and some of y'all are climbing up spiritually. Them people are just gonna come out the woodworks to try to bring you out of your power. Like, you ever notice, oh, things going good, and then somebody gonna say something to you or throw a wrench because you're climbing up. So they see it. Just, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I know what I see. And people become upset or mad or jealous, and they want to take you out of your character, whether it be in relationships, being married, on YouTube. I peep that stuff. I just don't say anything. I'm just like, well, I'm gonna continue doing what I do.
Right.
Making people laugh. Go ahead.
Be you.
Yes, and I'm gonna continue being me, because I have people try to tell me that, oh, you're not really that funny, and maybe you should try a different avenue. And I'm like, well, I'm just being me. I'm going to continue helping people, continue motivating, continue watching people's lives, giving them watch hours. Like, that's just what I do. I'm not going to have somebody else tell me about what, they think I should be doing. It's understandable, but yet you turn around and tell that person one little thing, they can't take it. They want to tell you 111,000 things about yourself. You go and turn around and tell them one little thing. Their fragile ego cannot handle it, and then their whole world comes crashing down. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, that's how it be. So it's
Yeah, I
just
know
like,
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
right. So it's just like, you know what? No. Like, you're a narcissist. You're filled with pride, and those people steer clear from, because they're gonna look for it. They're gonna look for everything. Like, 1 minute, oh, we need constructive criticism. We need to help each other out. We need to help be each other's advocates, to be accountability partners. Okay, I'm gonna agree to it. But then the 1 minute you say one tiny little thing, it's curtains down for them. It's just curtains down. And I'm just like, okay, once y'all see that, stay away from those kind of people, those kind of hypocrites, because it's like going inside of a battle with, you know that you can win it, but when they're on that level, they're just gonna keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. It doesn't matter what you do. That's just what they like to do. So sometimes the best way of winning is just stepping away from them. You can tell them about themselves, but that's just what they're gonna keep doing. It's called jealousy.
Because some people just like being in the position of always pointing out what's wrong with you or others. But like you said, they can't receive it themselves, but they try to make it up like a picture of let's all hold each other accountable and let's all be there for each other. But when you say something to them, it's like, who are you to say anything to me? And it's like, but
Right?
wait a minute, I thought we were all equal. I thought we all were like, I know exactly. Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. So you've experienced that too, and you don't do nothing to these people. You don't do nothing. You're just like, I didn't even know I was bothering you. Or every one little thing that you
Right.
say, it's like, uh-huh, I know you talking about me. That was meant for me. Like I was just chilling. I was just chilling. But they're gonna find something.
Well, it's like, when you're in church and the preacher start preaching and he starts stepping on your toes and you like, well, was you at my house last night? Why are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, people are going to be people. And so, you just have to, you can't let anybody steal your joy. And that's just what it is, and you have common sense and you have intuition. And
Amen.
yeah, when, what people to hang around and what people not to hang around. And maybe I don't know. I don't care enough. I really don't. And maybe I should care a little bit more, but I just don't care about what other people say or whatever. And if I feel like if I offend you and I'm not your cup of tea, just like Alice said earlier, everybody is not your cup of tea. And you're not and everybody is not gonna like you and
Thanks, Sakura.
everybody's not gonna love you. And so that's just something that, that's just life and that's human nature. And that's okay. So you just have to talk to the people that do like you or want to listen to you or can get inspired from you. And everybody just not going to be able to take a ride with you, and that's just how it is. Some people you're gonna have to leave
Mm.
them behind, and that's just how life go. And it doesn't matter if they're your family, friends, or whoever, or even strangers. Everybody just can't ride with you, and that's just how that goes.
Yep.
Indeed, because this is another thing, y'all. It's like half these people, it's like they don't even like. I understand a certain type of group of people where we're always gonna want to see something that's gonna entertain us. But I'm talking about those other types of groups of people too. It's just like who want to call the kettle black, and then it's like they don't even have a window or nothing to throw it out of. And it's like, yo, oh, I'm all positive. And it's like, oh, but you can't donate $1. Like me, I don't ask for nothing. I only did that one time, I guess, for this nonprofit organization. But other than that, it's like these people, we all supposed to be working together and then doing all this thing. And then it's like, these people, oh, I can't watch your videos. I can't do this. I can't give $1 or $2. It's okay. Next thing you know, you catch them 2, 3 inside of a Morton on some Scullawag's page with half her butt out and titties out and then dropping 39 or 49.99. I'm just like, the nerve of these people. But yeah, you're supposed to be so positive, community this, and oh, we need to do this, and you on some, and then next thing you know, they're dropping all this money, and it's just like, oh, thank you, and it's like, oh, holla at me, thank you. You turn out to be a man or something they don't even do. No, I just that's the stuff I've
Wow.
seen. Yeah, I've
No,
seen it.
I laughed on mute. I didn't mean to not laugh.
No, you don't
Because
have to
it's
laugh.
like we all
I'm
got
just
quiet and
Yeah.
it was kind of awkward.
yeah,
And I
no,
heard Miss
it's all
Alice
cool.
giggle, so I'm like, okay, it's okay to laugh.
Yeah, no, it's all cool because it's like don't let those kind of people tell you about yourself or get you off your rocker when it's like they portray this person online or on YouTube, but then it's just like you could wake up in the middle of the night and it's just like, okay, I know I gotta get up 6 inside the morning. I'm up. Let me watch something. You scroll, and then it's these same people, and it's just like you got to be kidding me. And now people are like, well, what are you doing? No, I like to kind of skip and go back to people's lives. That's just how I am. So it's like, okay, if it's 3 or 4 people, 5 people that I'm following, I'm going to give each one of y'all some type of attention and spend 10 minutes here, 10 minutes, 10 minutes here. But you're scrolling through these lives and you see some of these crazy things and just people so now I've learned to not take certain things seriously or certain people seriously, because it's like, again, it's just an app. It's just a place. And
Right.
people can put,
Right.
and then speaking of what Vaughn said in one of her lives, sometimes people just put on a face up here. And it's like, you got to be careful on how you open yourself up. And I'm like, I get it, because sometimes people will take
But
your
see, and okay, so in my experience, and Miss Alice can be a witness to this, right? What I feel about YouTube is kind of like, if you ask me, I feel YouTube is kind of, because it is social media, right? I feel like no matter how long you've been on YouTube, if you've been putting on a front, or you struggle with something, whatever the case, I feel like it's gonna expose who you really are. It's like if you come across a messed up situation, how you handle it, all of that is gonna show. Because for like me, I'm gonna say somebody like Miss Alice, her character has been consistent from the day that I met her till now. Consistent. And anybody that's in this chat or on this panel that knows me, been knowing me since I came outside, they will tell you, you never know with Vaughn, right? So how I look at it is, you can't fake nothing for too long. You can't come out here and just like me. I don't lie. I'm not gonna lie that I'm living this lavish and wonderful life. You gonna know if I'm going through something, like, because at the end of the day, whatever you like not being honest about, it's gonna come out. Whether somebody else decides to tell on you, and I'm not talking about other content creators. I'm talking about, I've seen people, family members come out on them, friends, co-workers, spouses, whatever. So how I look at it is, people can fake all they want. They really can. Somebody gonna come tell the truth. You might end up having to tell the truth on yourself. Whatever. You can't put on a facade for too long, because something's gonna happen where it's gonna be like boom, and one or two things is gonna happen. People are gonna be like, oh, I still kick it with you, but from a distance. Some people never gonna leave you. Some people never gonna deal with you again. It's just all about how you come out here, And sometimes when you come out here one way, when you show your, gangster side, your ghetto side, whatever, or if you come out here super ghetto, then you try to come back a different way, people want to hold you to that forever. But
right,
see, I'm not
right,
like that.
yeah.
Me personally, I'm not like that. I believe that we can all grow and change, through God, whatever, right? But hey, everybody don't think that way. So you just got to be careful, But if people out here being fake and, people that got caught in money scams and fraud, all types of stuff, so it's going to come out. So don't even worry about it. Like, for real. Don't even worry about it.
It's
You
true.
see people being fake and phony, they going to come. I've seen it. It's happened with me. Even though I don't feel like I was being fake and phony, I just, didn't tell everything. But whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I agree, and that's why I like to do what I do on the outside, on the inside. Like, even though I don't have like as much as everybody else, I'll still like, hey, I'm dropping $5 on your channel. I'm dropping $1 here. I'm dropping $10 here. I try to keep it, because the people who know me on the outside know me on the inside on YouTube. But a lot of people tell me, just be careful. Don't be too kind, because that can. And I mean, I get it. I understand, and that's why I'm somewhere inside the middle. It's like, I'm cool, but it's like, yes, from where I come from, it's like that side could probably come out, but I doubt it, because of, growing up, maturing, and, being with God and everything else that comes with it. So I do understand what you say, where, don't let somebody's past try to define their future. I know about that. But it's like, at some point it's like, we getting too old for this. It's just like, what's the point? What's the point? You still gonna be doing this same thing in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. It's just crazy. And that's what I'll be trying to get people to understand. Like, if you up here and you do, where you spending all this time, make something of it. Get your channel monetized. Make some content. It's like, you really spending your time just finding out people just to annoy or to speak on it. It's like, it's crazy. And yes, it's okay, because some people, that's the phase of their life that they go through, but it's to not stay stuck there. And when that happens,
Exactly.
yes, you use your experience to help teach others. You're not imposing it on them, but it's like, oh, I've been through this, I've been through that. Hey, I'm gonna teach you how to navigate because I've been there. You know?
Yeah, that's real true. But
Yeah.
Miss Alice, I don't think you want us to be doing an 8-hour marathon, do you?
No, we're not doing a Vaughn.
I
And
was
Miss
just gonna say, Miss Alice, you
yeah,
ready to go?
yeah, because
Yeah.
Miss Alice in my shoes, StreamYard gonna give us a few hours a month.
I added restream. I said what I said.
Oh, you did?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So whenever you're ready, I'll show you what I know about
Okay.
it. Okay.
I mean, Miss Al, I'm just saying. I said what I said. You ain't the only plug around here. I'm just, Miss Alice, I can help you out too. Okay, but
Okay.
But listen.
but
Didn't
no,
that man just say you here to educate people?
no, I'm
learning
just playing. I said what I
Are you
said.
learning anything from this man's speech? He's speaking greatly. Odds and ends is spitting some knowledge, and you ain't taking none of it in.
No, I
it.
am. I just like to
Yeah.
pick. I like to pick fun.
I
I said what I said.
understand,
Just know that.
I know who you are. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I don't know everything about Restream, so she can learn from me and you. It'll be okay. And as far as these channels go, let's just keep it real. It's over 3 million people on YouTube, right, around the world. So that means it's 3 million channels you can visit. Okay, everybody don't have a channel and everybody don't exercise their right to utilize their channel. But everybody that's assigned to YouTube or signed up for YouTube can do the same things that we're doing. So if you're not somebody's cup of tea, it's a spot for everybody on YouTube, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and everybody that's on your channel, they're supposed to be there. And the people that's not, then they're not supposed to be there.
Agreed. Like, do you know how much of a blessing that is for all these
you
people?
know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Real. Go ahead, Real. I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, no, just real quick. So, do you know how much of a blessing that is? We could be anywhere, any place, watching any other channel, watching craziness and that. But then when we all show up to each other's channel, that's such of a blessing right there. Because we can easily just leave and I ain't giving you no watch time, or I'm not adding to comments to stick you inside the algorithm, which what it does. So it's a blessing. It really is.
And really, I want to get all of you men on my channel because I want to do a summit of relationships. And a lot of times it's a lot, it's not that many men on YouTube that's willing to talk positive about the other, about the opposite sex, about women. And so, just these people that I've met through Alice and through Blue. And I thank God that I actually even came on Alice's channel because she's introduced me to all of you guys. Her and Blue has introduced me to a lot of good people. And so I've been waiting to meet different men on YouTube, and not to say that I want to get with them like that, but I would love to have men on my channel just to talk about relationships, because it's a lot of women on YouTube and we give our opinions, but we don't get to hear that many men opinions on how y'all feel about relationships. And who better else to tell it other than the man?
Yes, and that's my whole goal and mission right there, is to get these men to start opening up to particular sets of women and put your pride to the side, because now it's time for us to start respecting some of these women out here. Because the thing is, it's been tarnished so bad out here that when certain, I got women and certain people, even in public, you try to be nice, they're looking like, oh, who are you? And oh yeah, this must be fake or something like that. And I'm like, no, my mom and my grandmother were very, very good women, worked very hard. One of them even served inside, the service. My grandmother, she was an advocate for women and helped women back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and fought for certain things and rights. So with me seeing that, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm sitting here trying to, I'm better than this, better than that. And some men won't do that. So I saw the power in what women as well as men can do. And now that we have been going down this path, it's like, if you're a man who's been going down a certain path and it's like your own boys or brothers or your friends ain't gonna tell you, they're not gonna put you up and help you. Like you sitting there doing this smoking, but then a woman can tell you. So open up to that woman who's telling you this is what you need to do, hon, or this is what you got to do, or maybe you should stop doing this, stop smoking, stop. Because most men, I ain't listening to no female. Well, this is why you still smoking. I ain't listening to no female about drinking. Because your boy's gonna sit there and drink. I'm serious. They're not gonna tell you that.
No, I believe you. No, I believe you.
Yeah, and that's why I made that statement. I like positive men, and men like Scorpio mama said about you. She gave you a compliment. She said she like a person that speak with common sense, and that's exactly who you are. You're being real and you're speaking common sense, and
Yeah.
that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, because some black women helped me when I was younger, caught me right at that stage inside my 20s where it's like you should stop doing this, stop hanging around with these boys. None of even the older guys that they were making money, but because it's like, oh, I was in the club seeing this and that. They had all had all this the glamour, had their house and cars, but they were using me to get into the club to, oh, like some younger girls and this and that. So they still wouldn't tell me nothing to stop. But then the opposite sex, not even wanting nothing from me. Maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. So now I saw the light in that. And I'm like, okay, a lot of you guys that think you know everything and everything, you 40, 50, 60 still sitting around doing craziness. Your boys is not telling you this. Let your pride down to some of these black women that you're scared of that are like, stop saying, oh, this and that. So what? Sometimes you need to hear something from a strong black woman that's going to put you inside your place. And then now y'all can help each other. Now you teaching me something I wasn't taught. And now I could teach and help lead another black woman myself. Like, that's just how it is. I get it. Instead of being a soy boy and not wanting to listen to nothing.
Miss Alice.
Now,
A soy boy.
what,
Oh,
what I was
Okay.
gonna say was I said what I said when it comes to the channels. What I really like is that, like, so Miss Alice and we'll say Senna and a brilliant, okay, even myself. So we might have started out listening to other people, and it's like um or we might have did something that brought attention to a situation or whatever, and then we started our own channels. And I like that a lot. Like when people, it's like, oh, that's Miss Alice, she supports everybody. And then when Miss Alice started her channel, it's like everybody knew, what Miss Alice was about, how she moved or whatever, and she got that support. I like that about YouTube too, that,
Mhm.
a lot of people, well, from where I come from, they start out as like subscribers, like Jamila, she's gonna go live on the 9th, but she posts a lot of shorts. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
start out just kicking it with people, and then we build our own channels. And I don't know if for some people that gives, everybody the confidence, to do other things. Because for me, I might have kicked it with, a certain type of people, but I really did want to do content creation or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But I really like that about YouTube. I see a lot of that, people starting their own channels, doing their own things, showing us who they are behind, their profile picture. And I think that's really like a really awesome thing as well that
Well, how
happens on
how long
YouTube.
you think I've been on being a content creator?
That's a good question. I think from what I saw, your videos go back to like maybe a year or two ago.
Mm-mm.
Am I right? No?
No, no. I've been a content
Okay, so
creator. I've been a content creator since February of this year. The
huh?
end of the end of January, the beginning of February. Right, Alice? Alice will tell
Right.
you. Yeah.
Right.
Really?
I've only been a content creator for about 2 or 3 months.
that's the same thing for me. I only been up here like 3 months, three or
Yeah,
four months.
I never aspired to be a content creator, but some things happened. And I was on but I've been on other people panels, so
Mm-hmm.
it's not, I'm like you. I don't have a problem. I'm not, I'm not camera. I'm not microphone shy, and I'm not shy in front of people as far as speaking. But I haven't been a content creator no more than a couple of months.
Okay, then I must not been looking at your channel because
You
that
wasn't.
must have
You
been
wasn't.
somebody else.
No,
But I'm
you
gonna say
wasn't.
this.
It's another
I
channel that has the same
hmm
name, and I didn't know we had the same name, so that's why mine's have an underscore in it. But I haven't been a creator for that long. But some things
but you
happen.
do so good. Like I wouldn't have believed that. Like you do really good.
I appreciate that.
Hmm.
I like to learn. That's why I like to listen and I like to learn. But I was pushed into being a content creator because, like you, I wanted to say what I wanted to say, and so and I was advised to go ahead and do. I had a whole channel and I need to do something and go ahead and do something with it, and so that's what I did. And so I'm glad I did it because my whole goal is not to turn people against each other. My whole goal is just to meet
hmm
people with positive communities like I'm on Miss Alice's channel, and really just to tell my story and just to give my experiences, not to try to push anything on anybody, but just to tell you, the things that I went through and the things that I think and just my life experience. And I don't tell all of my business on YouTube, but if I'm doing some
hmm
commentary, I always try to just put an education, you know, an educational aspect of what I'm talking about, and that's all. And it's only just to inform other people. That's all.
You do. I mean, the first live, and I'm not Miss Alice. I ain't trying to hype, or do too much. But I just got to be honest. Like you were so professional, and you carried your live, and you bring numbers. Like I would have never guessed that you've been doing this since February. So I mean, okay, girl, I see. I definitely see. I also want to say this too, though, Miss Alice. In response, yes, baby. In response to, um when you first started church and people was running away from you, and stuff like that. um I am glad that you openly shared that experience because a lot of and no shade, Miss Alice, I'm just trying to keep it real. um with I'm gonna say the older church people, the elders, I received a lot of that. It was always just bad. You're a bad seed, you're going to hell, blah, blah, blah. And that weighed on me a lot, like a lot, even at 31, right?
Mhm.
And it does, make people feel a way. It does close people's hearts because it's almost as like, why would I want to serve or even acknowledge a God that's so mean and, just all this stuff. So for me, um, I talk about Jesus a lot because I don't know if you heard me when I said this, Miss Alice, but I had some issues with God, right? And for me, it was just like, God is, he got these things that he do to women, and he's just so strict, and you know, he don't he's not understanding that we're human and all this other kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So for me and my, because I'm new to the whole Christian thing, I lean on Jesus a lot because, and it keeps me. Oh, well, actually, Jesus, his teachings, what I've been learning in Bible study is truly what saved me and allowed me to give my life over to Christ because Jesus was like the one. He was the one that was like, no, we're not gonna just, write people off because of this, that, and the other. And I'm saying that to tell you, I'm really glad that you talked about that because for someone like me, and I love you to pieces. For someone like
Mhm.
me, hearing you be honest that you basically came out the church, like you was better than everybody. Now I said the other day, I felt like I was better than everybody outside the church, even ran into people that was in the church, doing my thing. And, you know, for me, Jesus isn't like that, even though he's the son of God, but he came down and basically got us all together and told us, ain't nobody better than anybody. And I think as Christians, we should be honest about, the issues that we face in our, spirit on our spiritual journey, that
Mhm.
we were, judgmental at one point, because I like to talk about my judgment of people outside of God, right? I haven't had the experience, in the church, and I pray that I don't, because for me, when I talk to people, I want them to, come to Jesus, like, hey, he's not this angry, vengeful, messed up God. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when I decided to give my life over to Christ, that's what stuck out to me the most, so that I can, approach people, who have been written off by other people, like I was, you know what I mean? And let them know, like, Jesus got you. You know what I'm saying? But I really appreciate you telling that story, because everybody's not going to be honest and admit that they had fault, in a situation
Right.
like that. And it honestly makes me love you even more, because you've been nothing but kind to me. You've been nothing but loving to me in front of the scenes, behind the scenes. And I never would have thought that, you had that experience. And it just really makes me love you even more, because you keeping it real with us.
Aw.
I
Make me cry,
don't know if
Vaughn.
that did anything for anybody, but yeah.
You're gonna make me cry.
Aw.
Don't
I
cry,
thought it
Miss
was
Alice.
sweet. I thought it was real sweet and genuine.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Mm-hmm.
to tell that because I did feel like somebody could relate to that, and that will honestly bless somebody. A lot of times we are ashamed of our past. Hey, Anti, thanks for joining. A lot of times we are ashamed of our past, but what we have to realize is that we all have a past, we all have a present, and prayerfully, we all have a future. So don't be ashamed of your past. Your past is just that. We all have one. Everybody has an X file.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. And
Hmm.
riding off what Vaughn said too, about people sitting there telling everybody that you're gonna go to hell and you're gonna go to this place and stuff. People gotta stop picking out that one aspect where, yes, Christ may have said that. I'd rather you not go to Tartarus, to hell, to the fiery place. But they also got to pick up the other aspects in Christ too, the healing, the motivation, the love. Remember, he was around there resurrecting people. He was around there healing people. He was around there loving people. He was around there being good friends to people. He was helping
Mhm.
people increase their faith. Even with John walking across the what about those aspects? No, we just going to choose this one, and you don't listen to me, you going to hell. Why can't we do the other aspects of Christ too?
And
And
feeding
that's what
people. Don't
go
forget
ahead.
about don't forget about the feet, the fish, and
Yes,
those bread.
multiplying the fish,
Yeah.
washing the feet, all that stuff.
Oh,
And I'm just like, and if I was that don't exist anyway. You ain't tried. You ain't tried. Like, have that good faith, because like you will be able to do what I did and greater things. So people just don't understand, and they don't teach that. But it's just like, it's that I'm pointing at you, do as I say, not as I do attitude. So that can push a lot of people away. And if you don't follow this, you don't go to hell. Remember, Christ went down to different people on different levels. And they're like, nope, he just taught the word. No. Some people he healed them. Some people he brought back to the dead. Others, we ain't all got enough to eat. I'm gonna multiply this fish. I'm gonna multiply these loaves. Oh, I ain't got nothing to say. Here, let me call this fish with a piece of gold inside of his mouth. All that showed people a different aspect. Like, how you gonna preach to somebody who's deaf and blind or dumb? It's like, guess what? I'm gonna heal you. Now you can see the power of the true God through healing. Oh,
Mm.
I'm not gonna tell you that you go into hell. I'm gonna sit with you inside this tavern, and I'm not gonna partake inside a lot of this stuff, but I'm not gonna join in, but I'm gonna show you how good I am. And it's like, wow, you've been here 2 weeks and haven't touched none of this. You ain't let none of these strippers dance on you. You must really be a man of God. Like that's what he did. That's another way of showing,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, I'm gonna drop down to your level, but not partake in it just to bring you up to my level. And that's what they forget, you know.
Mm-hmm. I also want to say this, like, Miss Alice, I know I already said, but I gotta point something out. You have, without even knowing, your community walls, when you post scripture, you know, and I know you do it every day, you know, I know you how you do it, right? But you have taught me a few things with what you said today and over time as well, is that, you know, because some people feel like once you know what I'm like I said, I never would have thought that you were like that, right? So
Mhm.
with you being how you have been since I've known you, you really shown me that God can change your heart and your mind. You know, because like I said, now Miss Alice, you didn't see me out here bad. You didn't see me out here good. You didn't see me out here really down bad. And when I say y'all, she has been consistent with loving me as Jesus told us to do to each other. You know what I'm saying? Reaching out, Vaughn, you know, are you okay? You know, whatever. I never would have thought that a person, because like I said, in my experience, some of those people are still like that, you know, judgy and just mean and hateful. And I'm not saying that you were mean and hateful, but you know, I'm just telling you what I've experienced, right? I never I'm starting to understand why you were put here for a lot of us, you know, more so myself, because I learned from you. I really do. The scriptures that you post, sometimes it's like a day or something, it's like boom, it just so happened your post is the first post that I see. Or boom, you know, Miss Alice, you know, you're doing these live streams, inspiring people, motivating them, you know, to have faith in God, you know, do what works for them, whatever. So with just this live here, you basically told some of everybody that just because you start off one way don't mean you're going to always be that way. That if you know, allow God to change your heart and your mind, he will, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And stop thinking that, oh, and basically give people a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, Miss Alice, if I would have felt like you was like that, I never would have been cool with you, right? But look where we are today. I didn't even know this about you. I love it because it also is a door for other people to change, and for other people to, you know, not judge people who have, you know, said hurtful things, and to, you know, look and see, you know, that people can change. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good thing. That's actually beautiful. And I don't know what you do for everybody. I see, you know, everybody always tell it, but I know for me, you really just did a lot. You really did. And
Yeah, Vaughn.
I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
not gonna write people off, you know, that are like that, you know, because, you know, I'm learning about the Pharisees, and you know, I got a kind of attitude towards folks, but you just let me know that I need to be careful. And just because I'm not like, you know, the Pharisees, that, you know, not to be judging them either, because, you know, some of them had a change of heart, or, you know, other people in this life or in my church, they can have a change of heart, to give people a chance, you know, to really see God and not just write them off. That's what you just taught me. So,
Mm.
you know, I love you, Miss Alice. I do.
I love
Amen.
you too. Thank you so
Aw.
much.
Amen. Amen. That was good. See, like, look, y'all empowering each other, and you just learned something else and learned another aspect and a perspective to look at a different situation. It's like, I know it sounds corny, but I like stuff like that. That's just me. That's cool.
Well,
Thank y'all. I
Well,
appreciate all of y'all.
Mhm.
yeah, the great live, Miss Alice. I'm gonna drop down because I think I know you ready to go.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Um, but great live. I enjoy you, and keep doing what you're doing. And you know, I love it. You know, you know, you always got my support, and I know I have yours.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
y'all enjoy y'all day. Nice talking to you all, and I'll see y'all later in the YouTube
Right.
streets.
All righty.
All right. Same here.
Go get
Y'all
some
do.
rest.
right, right. And I'm gonna get some too, and I'm gonna drop down too, Alice. But you know how I feel about you. You know, I think you're a great inspiration, And I tell you all the time, I've been ever since I've come to your channel, I haven't left. And even Blue's channel, I love her channel. I love all of these content creators that you brought together. And I've subscribed to everybody, and I try to visit everybody's channel. And trust me, when I go to each and every last one of you guys' channel, I learned something about myself, or it inspired me to do better. And that's what I like. I like that all of the communities that you have brought together, really, you really, everybody that you are affiliated with, and everybody that you've channel that you've put in your chat and in Blue's chat, and even Senna put some people in her chat as well, on her page. And I subscribe to some, some people that Senna referred me to. And so I just think it's a big positive community. And I appreciate you allowing me to come on your panel and to speak and to be a part of you guys' community. And I tell you, this is my church all the time. And I really do. Yeah, because I don't go to the church house no more, but I have my reasons. But at the end of the day, maybe one day I'll go back or whatever. My auntie is always telling me, you need to get on back in church. And I'm be like, well, Annie, you know the story. But at the end of the day, for right now, this is my church. It really is. And it's a great inspiration for me. And it's always a positive vibe, no matter what channel I go to that you guys refer. I've learned something from each and every last one of y'all channels. And I'm going to drop down. You have a blessed, great day. And I'll see you in these YouTube streets.
All righty. Thanks again.
Indeed. Indeed.
Miss Alice, I just want to say, to your first point, happy anniversary, your 36th anniversary. And it shows how much everybody loves you. You're almost on here for 22.5 hours. I just want to say that, and I'll drop out and just tell you how lovely you are in every sense of the word. I knew you from Will. I don't know, one day you can talk about him, but you can show how diverse you are. And but I love you, and happy anniversary again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. I'm fixing to drop down myself. But thank you, Alice. You're doing a wonderful thing here. You're bringing people together, just like as everybody else said. So I need not say that much, because you know what you're doing, and God's empowering himself through you. So you already know how that works out. You working in your calling. You already know that. I'm sure you do. So that's what's up.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
But y'all have a blessed night, and I'm gonna drop down, get to these kiddos. All right.
Thanks everybody for the anniversary wishes, and so much for your kind words. I appreciate each and every one of you. For my moderators, I appreciate you and I love you so much. Thanks, Bond, for making me cry. I appreciate you. You know I love you. Blue, you know I love you. And let me say something about Senna. Senna, if I had to give out an award for YouTube Supporter of the Year, Senna would be that person. Senna supports everybody. She her wall is full of supporting other channels, and every time I see that Senna has something, I definitely have to support her. She is such a beautiful person, not just on the outside, but on the inside. And I appreciate you so much, Senna. It's not that I don't appreciate everybody else, but Senna is definitely one of a kind. Continue to be you, and continue to let your light shine, because it really is shining bright. Thanks again to all of my moderators. Abril, you know how I feel about you. Thank you so much. Blue, you know how I feel about you as well. I said what I said. I am so glad that we connected. I love you too. And Shay had to leave, but she knows that I love her as well. Shanice and Precious G aren't here, but those two also know how I feel about them. I appreciate each and every one of you. And just to let you know, I will be adding man to my moderators very soon. I thank you again for all of the anniversary wishes, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next live or in someone else's live or their chat. And remember that God loves you even more than I do. And I really do love you all. And thanks, Tracy C. Positive Tea Corner. If you are not subscribed to her channel, she also has a positive channel. Please go over and support her channel as well. If you're looking for positivity, Tracy definitely has that. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to play the music. It's like 2 minutes, and then after that, oh wait a minute. Before I do that, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do a bond. I started some comments, and I don't want to leave without reading those comments. So a brilliant said, oh, I don't know why. I know why I started that, because obviously Scorpio Mama is working on something. So Scorpio, when you are done with your book, please let us all know so that we can support you as well. Abril said, I hate when people do that, give folks a realistic picture or don't give them one at all. Makes those of us living real life feel like our lives aren't real. That's true. Janice says, right, it's work between the two of you and the kids. And with kids, another work with different personalities and not forget others' opinions. Another work to keep them tongues away from your family. I think I know what you're saying, Janice. Thank you for your comment. Real says, also be careful who you let pronounce you man and wife. Half these people are evil and don't believe in God and giving blessings over a marriage that you done paid for. Yes, they're attached spirits will hop right on off when you leave yourself open at the moment. I've seen things fall apart immediately, and I surmise that was probably why. So thank you all for your comments. Again, thank you for joining. Thanks for participating in the chat. Even people who may have stayed in the bushes, thank you for supporting as well. And Mookie's here. Let me see. Hey, Mookie. Thanks for coming. We're getting ready to go, but please feel free to watch the replay. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm going to say it again. God loves you even more than I do, and I really do love each and every one of you. Continue to be blessed and continue to be a blessing to someone else.